Hey guys, I'm Khadroth, and today I'm going to be talking to you about our new Grail casting system in FGO. So, this new system was added with New Year's of 2022. It basically comes into us after the Tunguska event has concluded, and you do have to finish the epilogue in order to unlock it. But it is a brand new system that allows us to sort of 3D print Grails into the game, thus allowing you to generate up to 24 new Grails per year that were not already there. So it is a fantastic system, but as it stands at the moment, there's a couple of issues with it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the spreadsheet that I've created for this. It shows you the calculations and kind of walk you through it and help you understand it, and then give some of my thoughts on the system at the end. So for starters, I figured it'd be best to show you guys where this system lives and how to access it and the unlock conditions. So again, just to show you guys, it's going to be down here in our DaVinci shop. As you scroll down, you'll begin to see a new Grail icon right here. So this system basically has not only its new icon, but it also has our cooldowns on it. You can actually see it's telling me I have 0 Grails left that I can build. And then I have 23 days remaining until the system resets there. So it is at least informative right here in terms of reminding you. I suspect it might be like our Mana Prism and Rare Prism shop, where it starts to show you that, hey, there's new things, or you have a limited time remaining before the reset occurs. So it will at least help you keep your eye on it. But this is the Grail casting screen. You can see it's really nice looking, it's animated, it's really cool. But as you were to come in here, you have again the 2000 coin bar right here moving over to the side that will fill up as you put stuff in. And again, it still shows you the amount of Grails you can cast for the month and then the amount of days remaining until reset right there. Now that I've got all the coins added here, I can basically go ahead and click this button. Like I said, again, remember, don't add the coins that you don't necessarily, if you can't get to 2000, don't add your coins because it'll be wasted. There you go. We'll go ahead and put it in. And oops, let me turn this back on. There you go. You got a new coin. And now you can see the button is grayed out for me because that's the second one I've converted. So I have now made my 2 Grails. But it's a pretty intuitive thing, though I do think the UI in there could use some tweaking. It needs a better way to be able to lock the units, which as far as I can tell, you can't. There may be a way. Someone might scream at me in the comments. If so, just let me know down below. But this is at least intriguing from the stance that who you're gonna want to target with these is gonna be your 3 stars and lower. And guys, make sure that it is not going to be your coins for your limited 3 stars, your story locked 3 stars, because they're going to be hard to get future coins for. You also want to make sure that you avoid people like your 4 stars and 5 stars unless you're sure you're not going to use the coins, because remember, as this system is allowing us to print more and more Grails into the game, you guys should sort of open your minds a little bit more about who you're willing and desire to Grail. So keep that in the back of your head. If you're maybe thinking, oh, hey, now I might take someone to 120, that's going to take coins. So keep that in mind. But again, there's also going to be concerns over the welfares. You guys get your coins for them now via events. But again, there's still plenty of welfares that don't have it as of this point. But again, you don't want to necessarily use their coins because you know you're not going to be able to get more of them if you use them. You have to be very careful with how you operate this system. But again, that's going to make the major determinant for inflow of coins into this system being your FP, your friend points. Because as you roll out your friend points, since we can use our 3-star and lower coins in, it gives us a multitude of coins to be able to use in this system. But it's not quite so easy. The other thing I want to state here is make sure, guys, as you are contributing your coins to the system, that you only contribute once you have 2000. You don't want to be caught stranded where the monthly reset happens on you, but you've only contributed, say, 1100 out of the 2,000 coins, because then you will lose all of those coins. Once you put them in this system, they are gone. You cannot get them back. So only contribute if you think you can reach 2,000 before the reset happens. Be very careful with that aspect. Okay guys, so now I can show you the new spreadsheet that I have created, and I'm going to go through this with you and break it down. So you guys can see we need 2,000 coins for a grail. That means we're going to need a lot of coins from that FP over time. So we're going to start here by calculating the FP averages. So just so that you guys are aware and so you guys can see this a little bit more clearly, I'm going to zoom in. But here are the possible results for what you can roll in your FP gacha right now. So you have Angry Mango, who has an absurdly low rate. Again, he's 1 in every 2 million-ish FP. He can yield 50 coins when you get him though, so he yields at a much greater rate, almost again a 4-star rate there at that. And then we've converted that into the rate over his rolls to get us an average for coins per roll here. Then we've got our 1 stars at, again, a like 10% rate. You've got our 2 stars at a 5% rate, our 3 stars at a 1% rate, and our 4 stars at a, again, like 0.1% here. So the 4 stars for this are going to be your Saber Lilies, your Habitrots. They can still show up in your FP rolls now on JP, and that results in them obviously giving you a little bit more coins. You can see the amount of yield for a coin on rolling them goes up with the rarity. But this results in an average of 0.685 coins per roll. Now, so that we're clear here, when we're talking about this, we're talking about a single roll, not a multi. So that's the good news for you guys. Well, this number might seem low. This is just for 1 roll on average. So what we ended up doing is we take the coins needed for a grail and divide that by the average coins per roll to figure out the amount of rolls on average that we're going to need for 1 grail. But remember, these are single rolls. So we take that and the FP per roll and multiply that, and we can figure out sort of our go-to number here for how much FP we need per grail. It's going to be about 584,000. That is a daunting number for a lot of free-to-plays out there. Whales might sit here and go, okay, this is definitely doable. This is not bad, even though it's a little bit high. And a lot of people might say, well, I do a lot of boxes in a Lotto, and so I can get a lot of FP for that. And that's true. But I took this all a step further and ran some more calculations. So as you guys can see here, I ran the FP then that you would need per month, since there's 2 grails per month, and then the FP that you would need per year, since there's 12 months in a year. So it's 24 grails, or about 14 million FP. That is a daunting number. A lot of you are not going to be able to hit that, so please understand. But I again said, hey, wait, we can save on this. We get free FP rolls every day, and you should use them. So as a result, we get 10 single rolls a day, aka a free multi. We have 365 days in a year on average, chat, no leap year shenanigans. And then free rolls per year is what I came up with at 3,650. That results in, if you compare this back to the rolls needed per grail, about 1.25 free grails per year. You definitely get a free grail just from doing your free pull every day. Log into the game, do your free pull, guys. It's going to help you out. You'll get a grail from it. There's now an even greater incentive to do that. But I also took this and basically converted it into the free FP then that you would get per year, and basically subtracted that from our earlier number, giving us the FP per year less our free amount. So this is the real number we have to hit, is about 13 million. So again, you end up saving yourself roughly 1 million FP out of this, but again, we can extrapolate that to reach that number a little bit more clearly. So we do get the FP per grail number reduced as a result of this, down from 583 to about 553, since again, you guys are going to be doing that free roll every single day as it comes up. And then as a result, we could figure out the FP per month less that free amount. And then from there we go, okay, well, how much FP then do we need from Lotto boxes, right? So we know that 13 million number is sort of our end goal. Well, there's 2 lottos per year, but we have to figure out what the average per box is. So what I ended up using was about 11,000 because I went back and looked through every single upcoming lotto to date on JP that they have had and determined that 11,000 was about our average, since there's a couple lottos that give a tad bit more and a couple of lottos that give a tad bit less. It's right about there is the number that we need. And if we do that, if we take this 11,000 and divide that by the FP that you need per year, this is the number of boxes that you're going to need in an entire year. Well, remember, there's 2 lottos though, so you don't need to do that all in one lotto. Instead, we can divide that up. But that means you need to do roughly 603 boxes per lotto if you want to get all 24 grails in a year. That's crazy. And I say this as somebody that does 500 boxes in a lotto all the time. I can certainly do 600, but I'm also refilling using quartz, aka rainbow apples. I am literally spending money to be able to hit that number. So this is not something a free-to-play is going to be able to do without breaking that status. And that's why I wanted to break this down, to give you guys a realistic depiction for you. And again, for those of you guys planning, now you have an accurate number that you can strive for. But do understand, all is not lost. This box count can be reduced by any FP or coins that you gain from any other source. So for instance, when we roll our quartz gacha, so again, your 3-star and higher gacha, you guys will get some 3 stars. You can take those coins and use them to create grails, thus reducing the amount of FP you would have to roll otherwise. Similarly, you could get 4 and 5-star coins that maybe you have an exorbitant number of copies of them and they're wasteful, or you just realize that you're probably not going to unlock maybe anything other than, say, mana loading as far as an append goes. And so you might go, okay, well, any coins over than like 120 I might not need. So that's a thing. Just keep in mind, like I said, you're going to get more grails, so who you grail might expand, and maybe you want to take people to 120, which is where the coins will start coming back into play. But there's also campaigns given out over time that have FP as a reward in them. There are craft essences that can boost your FP gain whenever you use a support. And there are also going to be probably the biggest determinant to knocking this number down, your friends using your supports. As your friends use your supports over time, you get FP. And especially when we're in big events that there's a lot of degeneracy, a lot of refilling going on, even via apples or something like that. Essentially, you'll see that your FP begins to skyrocket during those times if people are using your supports. So a big thing can be trying to maximize your gains in that sort of scenario. Again, lottos, raids, hunting quests, they're typically good times that people refill a lot. So you end up getting a lot of FP out of that. Now, there's already the lotto boxes that give a ton of FP, but you can also get some from your friends. And then as you log in every single week, the first day of the week also gives you FP. Now, let's go ahead and look at the notes that I have on this. One, I would like to reiterate that Grail casting is locked until you complete Tunguska. Tunguska is post Lost Belt 6. It's not 6.5, we haven't reached there yet, but this feature is locked behind it, so keep that in mind. But again, our notes here are that, one, you need to do your free FP roll every single day, and you'll save yourself a lot of FP if you do that. Again, if you think you can't hit the 24 grails per year, that's fine, but doing your FP roll every single day per year will get you another free grail. So if you're not doing it, you're just throwing a grail away. Also, if you log in every day, you're gonna get that first of the week login bonus that I talked about that gets you a little bit of FP. I believe it's about 2,000. So there's 52 weeks in a year. Times the 2,000, you end up with 104 extra FP gained from that, which was not calculated in this free FP number. So you can reduce that FP needed here a little bit more by just logging in all the time. Again, I'd like to reiterate that you guys shouldn't put coins into the system unless you can hit 2,000. Again, otherwise you're going to waste them if the month resets over, so be careful with that. And don't use any coins here, guys, if you're not sure that you won't use them, right? So maybe it's a unit you really dislike, that's one thing, but do keep in mind, guys, that the append system is going to be very useful at times, especially that mana loading append. So don't shoot yourself in the foot, play it safe. I know it's tempting to get a grail, but remember, these coins as it currently stands, you don't have other sources for them other than gotchaing, and that's why I'm going to caution you about using something you can't get back. So again, be careful about the welfares, the 3 stars that are story locked and limited, and the 4 to 5 star units. Also, again, I reiterated here that I don't think that 603 boxes is achievable for free to plays. This is not a reasonable number for most of you to hit, so you guys are going to have to accept less. But you can try to maximize your FP gain in order to see if you can get more grails from that. And part of that is including lotto boxes and how much you can do there. There's a valid tactic that you guys can use on NA. On JP, you guys are screwed because this system has already come out. But on NA, you can start right now today hoarding your FP until the system comes out. The problem with that is you might miss out on some very lucrative times to roll your FP out, including Annie 5 and Gouda 5 and its rerun, all of which are pretty good for your FP. The upside is you get more FP to use in the Grail casting system once the coins come out. The downside is, oh crap, now we're ending up in this scenario where we're losing that benefit from rolling in those times, and also it's still not going to solve the problem. It's just going to delay the inevitable for us. So you will eventually run out no matter how much you try to hoard. But then I want to get to this last point right here at the bottom, and this I truly believe, and I wanted to talk about this a lot more, that with the way the system currently stands, I again believe this is another thing that's pointing towards, in the future, us getting more servant coins from another source. We get them from rolling right now, we get them from bonding right now, and that is not enough. I think Delightworks, aka Rasinguru, knows that that is not an achievable number for most people. And obviously a lot of systems in the game benefit whales more as they are more invested and play more. So I'm not going to say they're ever going to wipe that number out. They're not going to make it so that, oh, everybody can get all the grails and stuff like that. But I think as it stands right now, something like even say 9 grails a year for a free to play is probably reasonable. And I think they probably want to bump that up some. I think at a certain point, they're going to give us more coins in order to help ease that desire to get more for the free to plays. There's also another problem with this system. As I said, it puts a greater strain on our servant coins. Well, that puts a greater strain on the append systems and the grailing beyond 100 system. So if their goal as a developer is to give you more goals for yourself, to work over time on your account so that you don't get bored with the game and tap out and say, hey, I've got nothing to do, hey, I don't care, you know, I've already finished the units that I care about, yada yada yada. They need to encourage you to use the append system. They need to encourage you to use the 100 plus grailing system. So what this system does is it does help the grailing system from the standpoint of now there's more grails. But it also hurts it because now you have less coins for grails. And that's, again, assuming that you use those coins that you would have used on grailing a unit to 120. So that's maybe a not one-to-one conversion there, as people are 100% going to try to save for the units they like, right? But I think this system will start to put strain on that and discourage potentially the cost and the use of those coins beyond that, because those coins can be converted into more grails. Instead of grailing 1 unit to 120, well, we have 3 support lists now that I can put up. I can maybe grail more of my support list to show off to my friends, to again make me feel happy about my investment in the game, rather than grailing 1 unit particularly high. So I think this, combined with people are going to start looking at appends, especially for the 3 stars and lower, and saying, not worth it, I want my grails. I think that's going to cause people to sort of get really tight on their coins and hoard them for the Grail casting system. And that's not what Delightworks wants, because then you're not using the systems that they put in the game with the appends. So they're going to need to give us a source of more coins in order for us to actually, again, take advantage of all these things, have all of these goals, and always feel like we have something to do. Otherwise, again, you're just going to have this super tight coinage situation where, yeah, screw it, I'm just doing Grails the whole time. So I think this is coming, and there's other signs of this. I've been saying this for months now. I'm still surprised that we haven't heard much. And then hilariously enough, here comes the Grail casting system that, you know, was totally unexpected on my part. But this system also does serve a very nice purpose from the standpoint that it's going to allow you guys to actually spend and have a use for coins that may have otherwise been worthless to you. You start thinking about rolling out your FP over time, maybe to do craft essence bombing, maybe to get just more copies of units or command codes or embers or whatever, right? You start thinking about this, well, crap, then my servant coins would start to accumulate for these 3 stars and lower. So this system still gives an outlet and a use for coins that you would have just been accumulating over time in vast sums and not doing anything with. And I think that's why this system comes to us now. But the more I think about this, the more I think about the append system, the servant coins as a whole, and the grailing beyond 100, the more I think that they are headed towards a future where they do give us more coins. Even if they don't plan to right now, I think they're going to realize that this is going to have maybe some opposite effects that they wanted, and how the community reacts to a system like this and how they start hoarding things. So if they want to loosen that up, they're going to have to do something about it. But again, I think this is a great system. I think this gives us printable grails, and that is awesome because it allows us to invest even more in our units. But the question is going to be at what cost. So I hope Delightworks, aka Rasenguru, does address that at some point. But again, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you need the spreadsheet link, it'll be in the description below. I will see you guys for the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the system, and I'll see you guys later.